Game of Thrones, one of my favorite shows of all time, one of the greatest shows of all time, not including the ending, of course. Let's not talk about that. But excluding that, the entire show is just filled with so many great moments and scenes. Even the ones that you don't love to watch because they're so gut-wrenching and painful are so good. And what we're going to be doing today is judging some of the greatest moments of each season in Game of Thrones through a BuzzFeed quiz. Let's get it. This is already tough. Is this... pick a moment. Like, if we're talking about significance, right? The Ned scene, that literally is what kickstarts the Game of Thrones.
You're a funny man. Huh?
The reason Rob becomes King of the North. You know what I'm saying? So I think it has to be that because of the significance, man. Like, I think I'm gonna do try to do a mixture of scenes I like versus scenes that are just so impactful, you know. But I think that one's just oh my god, like, it's so, like, the dragons hatching, fantastic. Rob becoming King of the North, fantastic. Viserys getting his crown, like, all of these are cool and fantastic, but Ned getting beheaded, that has to be the number one. It's too significant to everything that happens. What about from season 2? We got Joffrey getting hit. Great scene. The wildfire explosion, I mean, cool, okay. The birth of the shadow, like, cool, but, you know. Valar Morghulis, definitely butchered the hell out of that, but okay. Like, alright, you know. Cersei getting drunk in the 3 blasts. I think it might be Joffrey getting hit, dude. Just for some personal satisfaction. Like, I don't think I've ever hated a character more than I've hated Joffrey. You know what I'm saying? So him getting that little bit of a... And Tyrion's fantastic as well. Tyrion's the one guy who's on the other side, who you're actually like, oh, I kind of like this guy. Just that moment, like, the satisfaction from that. It's just a personal favorite. And I don't think anything here is significant enough for me to outweigh that personal satisfaction. So we're going to go with that. Choose your favorite bit from season 3. Ygritte and Jon in the cave. Okay. The Red Wedding. I think I just need a moment. Like, when I tell you that while watching the Red Wedding, I genuinely, like, whilst watching that scene, I had to pause. I watched it on my iPad, right? Because I like watching things on my iPad in bed sometimes. I paused it. I genuinely threw my iPad across my bed. I folded my hands. I said, I'm not watching that anymore. And I needed to take like a 20-minute like breather for me to actually be able to continue and watch that. Because I was so distraught. And the only reason that I continued watching the show is because I had it kind of spoiled for me before I ever started watching it. Right? Like, there was a scene in SNL where Emilia Clarke and Kit Harington were on. And basically, like, Emilia Clarke made this joke of, it was something along the lines of, oh, you remember when we had sex in this season? Did you know the cameras were on for that? Or something along those lines. And they made a joke out of it.
Do you remember in season 6 when we had sex?
Yes, I do.
Did you know they filmed that?
Okay.
And so, like, I'm just having the worst time watching the show, which it's a fantastic show and I love it so much, but it's making me so distraught that I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch this anymore. But I love Jon and I love Daenerys, and I'm like, okay, something's gonna happen there eventually, so I'll keep watching it. If I hadn't had that spoiler, I genuinely like wonder if I would have finished that show because I was so distraught watching the Red Wedding. Oh my god. Brienne fighting the bear, Daenerys taking the Unsullied, Ygritte shooting Jon, Bran warging for the first time. I mean, Ygritte shooting Jon. Oh my god, that whole relationship. I mean, unless you're a fan of the books. If you're a fan of the books, I've heard their relationship is not so great. But if we're taking in just a show, you know, IRL married couple there, which is awesome. Then that relationship on screen was awesome because it wasn't like the books. And it was great, but I mean, I think for the significance, for the fact that, like, it's such an impactful and emotional, like, gut-wrenching scene, it has to be the Red Wedding. I mean, I don't think there's a scene, like, I'm willing to cry when I'm watching TV shows. I get sad and I get, you know, I get in my emotions and all, but the Red Wedding was just, it was different. It was different. It was so heartbreaking. It has to be the Red Wedding. Which moment in season 4 was the best? The Purple Wedding. Finally, right? I started watching season 4 and I finally get something that makes me happy. Oberyn versus the Mountain, great, but my boy fumbled so bad because he was just too, man. Sad times with Oberyn. Should have won. I mean, he did win that, but then, like, his, you know, almost kind of cockiness, but he wasn't really that he was cocky. He was just trying to make a point. I don't know. Tyrion's defense, this is such a great season. Lisa Aaron's death, Arya and the Hound teaming up, and then Tyrion killing Tywin. Fantastic. Love that for my boy. Kind of, because, he was also going through a lot at that point in time. But it's got to be the Purple Wedding. I mean, it's a fantastic season. But the Purple Wedding, I mean, the amount of... Going from the Red Wedding to the Purple Wedding, the amount of satisfaction that gave me, unparalleled. Has to be the Purple Wedding. And the best scene in Season 5 goes to the Battle at Hardhome. Great scene. Missandei and Grey Worm kiss, okay. Cersei's Walk of Atonement, fantastic. Drogon saving Daenerys. Tommen and Marjorie getting married, Jon getting stabbed. Oh, frick. Cersei's Walk of Atonement is like great on a satisfaction level because, screw Cersei. But I don't think that's going to win as the best one. Missandei and Grey Worm, cool, but that's not the best one. Battle of Hardhome's up there. Drogon saving Daenerys is up there. And Jon getting stabbed is up there. That was kind of ruined for me. Again, because like I said, the SNL skit, I knew that Jon and Daenerys, something was going to happen there. And it hadn't happened yet. So I knew, I was like, there's no way that Jon's actually dead. So I do wonder how much that scene would have impacted me if I didn't know. If it wasn't spoiled. But I think that scene is overall fantastic. The most iconic moment in Season 6 was Arya killing Walder Frey. Fantastic. Benjen's return. Hold the Door. Oh, God, Hold the Door. So good, too. And then the Battle of the Bastards. Yo, this season had some great moments. Daenerys the Unburnt and the Cersei blowing up the Great Sept of Baelor. Oh my, also fantastic, right? Clear trio here. Arya killing Walder Frey for personal satisfaction. Hold the Door for oh my God, mind-blowing moment, right? I had no idea what was going on. And then the fact that it was the hold the door, hold the door, hold door. Oh my God. Screw Bran, by the way, just as a side note. And then the Battle of the Bastards is so good too. It's so good. Oh. There is a more significant moment. Not a significant, a more, I would say, legendary moment with Arya and the Freys in Season 7. So if that's there, I'm definitely going to go with that. Knowing that that's probably coming up. If that's not coming up, then this is a horrible quiz. If that is coming up, we're going to go with that. So knowing that, I'm going to go with something different here. I think it might be Hold the Door. Because I was so stunned. I genuinely did not see that coming at all in the slightest. I really just didn't. So I think the Battle of the Bastards is sick. Battle of the Bastards is so good too, actually. It's so good. Shit. I might have to go with the Battle of the Bastards because of how, they're both so good. This is tough. Hold the Door or Battle of the Bastards? Oh, shiza. Oh, man. They're both so good. I'm going to go with Hold the Door. I thought that scene was freaking mesmerizing. I had no idea what was going on. It was so sad to learn that was his only purpose in life. And oh my God, I'm going to go with that. And finally, what's your favorite bit from Season 7? There it is. Arya killing literally all the other Freys. It's that. Jon and Dany's meeting. The wall falling. Olenna Savage last words. Fantastic. Littlefinger's death. Okay. Some great moments here, too. Even if the season overall, led to some... We're not going to talk about it. Anyway, Jon and Dany's meeting would be up there. I was so hyped for this first time watching this because, again, that SNL skit, right? I thought at this point in time, I'm like, oh my God, they're meeting, they're going to get together, they're going to rule over Westeros together, king and queen. I thought it was going to end with, them having a child. I literally thought that that's what they were foreshadowing. At one point, they're having a conversation, and Daenerys goes, oh, I can't have children, right? And Jon goes, who told you that? I thought that was foreshadowing. I thought that was going to lead to them having a kid, and then him ruling over Westeros in the future. I was like, oh my God, it's so good. And then by the end of the season, we find out that they're related. And this just it just ruined everything for me. I'm like, all right, dude, what's up with the incest here? You know what I'm saying? I couldn't get on board with it anymore. And so that would be a strong contender. But regardless, I think it has to be Arya killing literally all the other Freys. Come on. Tell them that winter came for House Frey. Tell them that the North remembers. Oh my God. Oh, it's so good. Oh, and just the personal satisfaction, the payoff from the Red Wedding. Perfection. So good. It has to be that one. It just has to be. Okay. That actually makes sense. Okay. You're scarily similar to the cold-hearted Queen Cersei Lannister. That's because I was picking scenes that like weren't necessarily my favorite, but just had the most significance, and a lot of them were like depressing ones, like the Red Wedding and Ned getting beheaded and stuff like that. So that makes sense. I wasn't going for a particular character here. I was just going off of the most significantly great moments that like had an impact in one way or another, whether good or bad, whether happy or sad. So that makes sense considering the scenes that I picked. So I get that. That makes sense.